The function of manas. The question may arise now, what is the significance of manas? Cannot the other Vijnanas do without this when acting, as it were, between the alaya and the other particularizing six Vijnanas? This seems to be quite a natural question to ask, seeing that the Manovijnana can directly deal with the alaya without the interference of manas. According to my way of interpreting the Lankavatara, which may not be correct, the alaya is a sort of universal consciousness, and manas individual empirical consciousness. In the alaya, everything is stored, good and bad, in a state of quiescence and potentiality, but no discrimination, which later, however, appears with the initiation of manas. Manas is the active source of all the mental activities we ordinarily experience in this world of particulars. The possibility of consciousness lies in its dualistic nature, for without that which grasps and that which is grasped, there would be no conscious life. The duality of subject and object is fundamental, but this dualism is impossible without assuming behind it something which is not dual. Therefore, at the back of the six Vijnanas there must be manas, the principle of individuation, and also the alaya, which goes even beyond the foundation of consciousness. When we admit that the six Vijnanas are fundamentally conditioned by the principle of individuation, we admit the existence of manas. And when manas is admitted, we inevitably go on to the alaya, which allows itself to be reflected by manas as its condition, and yet at the same time transcends it, because the alaya is not an individual object of experience, but universal in its nature. And it is owing to this universal nature of the alaya that all the individual manas are capable of reflecting one and the same universe and of engaging in discussion. The alaya is thus most appropriately compared to the ocean. This ocean of the alaya is disturbed by the wind of the particularizing principle, psychologically known as manas and epistemologically as vishaya. While manas is conceptually separable from the other six Vijnanas, it is practically involved in them. In our psychological life itself, the whole Vijnana system is engaged, and we cannot very well talk individually of its components. So the Lankavatara is always careful to guard us from getting confused about this point, namely, the alaya and the Vijnanas are different and yet not different, that is, they are one. Without the alaya, the cause disappears, and the whole mental apparatus collapses. And when that which makes the cause operative ceases to react, the cause itself ceases to act, though this does not mean its disappearance or destruction. The manas is the discriminating agency, but as this is possible only in the alaya, on which the manas with all its retinue of Vijnanas is dependent, the manas and the alaya are in the closest possible relationship. For this reason, the alaya is dependent upon manas for consciousness of itself and its unity. On the other hand, the six Vijnanas cannot function in harmony with one another unless manas comes between them and the alaya. Manas is the connecting link. The position occupied by manas in the system of Vijnanas is thus peculiarly complicated and is apt to get confused sometimes with the alaya and sometimes with Manovijnana. In the Lankavatara, the alaya is the reservoir of things good and bad, but it is perfectly neutral and not conscious of itself, as there is as yet no differentiation in it. The differentiation is caused by manas, the defiling Vijnana as it is sometimes called. The differentiation, or defilement itself, is neither good nor bad, but when it is adhered to as final, irreducible reality, there ensues the idea of an ego substance internally and externally, and from this all evils are generated. As a result, the mind loses its native tranquility. What is now most needed is to cause a revolution, parivritti, in the whole system of Vijnanas, especially in the alaya itself, which, contaminated by manas and manovijnana, has had its neutrality, purity, and innocence all exiled. To look into the matter more squarely and clearly is called to see yatha bhutam, by direct perception, which leads to emancipation and serenity.